Mrs. Bass strode back towards the stool and Mr. Bitter sighed. "All right, class," he said, "let's clean up the chores." Most of the children wanted to help, but the goblins kept messing around, diddling and shoving each other. Mr. Bitter didn't seem to notice. "Rachel and Kirsty, could you straighten up the thrones, please?" he asked. The girls dropped over to the thrones and started to put them back in line. "What an awful gym class," said Kirsty. "I hope that we can do better tomorrow." Mr. Bitter looked really upset. Rachel didn't reply because she had just seen something very strange. A faint golden glow was coming from underneath one of the purple cones. She nudged Kirsty, who lifted up the cone to look underneath it. They heard the sound of a tiny whistle, and then Kathryn the Gym Fairy fluttered out and waved at them. "Hello, girls," she called. She was wearing white jeans decorated with pink hearts, a pink varsity jacket, and a pretty pink ribbon in her hair. "Hello, Kathryn," said Kirsty. "What are you doing here?" "Queen Titania was watching your class in her singing pool," Kathryn explained. "It went badly because the goblin had my magical gold star badge. I've come to ask for your help." At the beginning of the week, Kirsty and Rachel had met Marissa the Science Fairy, one of the school day fairies. She had asked them to help her find her magical gold star badge, which naughty Jack Frost had stolen. Those found out that he had taken the badges for 4 subjects: science, art, reading and gym. He was planning to start his own school for goblins and teach them all about himself. Without the badges, lessons had turned into a disaster in both the human world and fairyland. But the worst thing was that Queen Titania and King Oberon were coming to look around the fairyland school. Unless the fairies got their magical star badges back, the royal visit would be ruined. Rachel, Kirsty, and Marissa found out that Jack Frost had expelled 2 misbehaving goblins from his school and that they had stolen the magical gold star badges from him. These were the 2 goblins at Timpleton School. Rachel smiled at Kathryn. "We found the badges that belonged to Marissa the Science Fairy, Allison the Art Fairy, and Lydia the Reading Fairy," she said. "I'm sure we can help you find yours too." "Rachel, Kirsty," called Mr. Bitter. "It's almost time for the bell. Please join the rest of the class." Quickly, Kathryn darted into the pocket of Kirsty's gym shirt. The girls hurried over to join the other students. "Before you all go and get changed, I want to talk about tomorrow," said Mr. Bitter. "There was only one team who managed to finish the obstacle course today. Well done, boys." The goblins snickered, but everyone else looked very glum. "It's important for the school that we do well in front of Mrs. Bass in the morning," said Mr. Bitter. "Could you please all try to memorize the rules tonight and practice at home if you can. Remember, the first person has to weave through the line of cones with a bean bag on his or her head. The second person throws the basketball through the hoop. The third person must jump rope 20 times, and then the fourth person crawls under the net to the finish line. Don't forget to tag the next team member as the signal to go. We'll do our best to make everything all right tomorrow, sir," said Kirsty. Mr. Bitter gave her a worried smile. "All I ask is that you do your best," he said. "Now I have asked today's winning team to give you all a demonstration." Puffing out their chests and looking very smug, the goblins stepped forward. Rachel suddenly realized that if everyone was watching the goblins, they wouldn't notice if she and Kirsty slipped away. There were some spare cones tied up behind them, As the first goblin set off with the beanbag on his head, Rachel put her best friend's arm and tucked under behind the thorns. This is our chance to find out where the goblins are hiding Kathryn's magical badge, she whispered. Kathryn, can you turn us into fairies? Then we can watch the goblins really closely without being seen. The fairy had poked her head over the edge of Krusty's t-shirt pocket, and now she pulled out her wand. I'm glad you are going to be fairy-sized for a while, she said with a smile. It means that I can give you a real hug. Rachel and Krusty grinned at one another as Kathryn waved her wand in the air.